Men past their 60th birthday aren't aware that changes in their manhood aren't simply a part of getting older, they're a warning sign. A signal that healthy blood flow is diminishing, that the tissues in your pelvic area are inflamed, and that your virility is gradually declining. You might become aware of it when your morning erection isn't as strong, when intimacy becomes challenging, or when you find yourself waking up frequently at night to go to the bathroom. But here's something often left unsaid: there's a straightforward, natural method to bring back what you thought was gone forever. By combining castor oil and baking soda. I'm Dr. Harold Grant, and I've dedicated over 3 decades as a urologist and men's health expert to helping men like you regain their vitality, sensation, and control without the need for medication, without any embarrassment, and with realistic hope. I realize it might sound unusual. Castor oil and baking soda, how could that possibly benefit your manhood? But that's precisely why I encourage you to stay tuned, because the science supporting this mixture addresses the fundamental causes of diminishing erectile function, restricted blood flow, and inflamed prostate, tissue rigidity, and toxin buildup in the groin area. In this video, I'll explain how this combination works, why it can help restore your confidence and function in as little as a week, and provide detailed, safe, step-by-step instructions on how to use it. You're about to see what can happen when you combine 2 common ingredients and give your body another chance, and by the end, you'll understand why this could be the most overlooked secret in men's health today. Before we delve into this potent healing method, please subscribe and enable notifications so you won't miss any of my natural health tips designed specifically for men like you. And if this message resonates with you, please type 1 in the comments section. If it doesn't, type 0. I'm always striving to learn and serve you better. Let's begin with a fact that many men don't realize, and it's precisely why this castor oil and baking soda method is so important. It's not just age that weakens your erections or diminishes your sensitivity, it's what's happening internally. A quiet, gradual decline in blood flow, inflammation putting pressure on nerves, and a prostate that isn't functioning as optimally as it should. This is the crucial first step in understanding, because once you grasp this, everything else will begin to fall into place. First, let's address why penile function tends to decline after the age of 60, and why it's not something you should blame yourself for. I want to share something with you that might come as a surprise. If your erections aren't as strong as they once were, if your sensitivity feels diminished, or if you find yourself waking up more frequently during the night than you'd prefer, this isn't your fault. And it's not simply a matter of old age catching up with you, either. That explanation is too simplistic and, frankly, misleading. The real issue is more intricate and offers much more hope, because once you understand it, you can begin to reverse it. Over the decades, I've sat with countless men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s, strong, intelligent men who felt ashamed. They believed something was wrong with them, that they were losing their manhood, that they were somehow less of a man because they couldn't perform as they once did. I recall one gentleman, Raymond, who looked me in the eye and confessed, "Doc, I feel like I've disappeared down there." It was a powerful statement, but I also knew that it wasn't a permanent condition, because I'd witnessed men recover from it numerous times. The primary reason for this decline is rooted in blood flow, or rather, the lack of it. As we age, the arteries that deliver blood to the pelvic region become stiffer, narrower, and less responsive. Your manhood relies on healthy circulation more than almost any other part of your body. Without it, sensitivity diminishes, firmness decreases, and response time slows down. It's not about your hormones, it's not about your desire, it's about your blood flow. But that's just part of the explanation. There's also inflammation, especially around the prostate, which puts pressure on surrounding nerves and blood vessels. This not only interferes with your ability to achieve or maintain an erection but also leads to that constant urge to urinate at night, disrupting your sleep and draining your energy. When your lower pelvic region becomes inflamed and congested, it's akin to trying to operate an engine with clogged fuel lines. And then there's stagnation. After 60, many men become less active, spend more time sitting, and unknowingly trap toxins and lymphatic waste in the groin area. The body's natural detoxification processes slow down. Blood flow becomes sluggish. Tissues don't receive the oxygen they require. Over time, this internal congestion manifests as fatigue, decreased arousal, numbness, and emotional disconnection. But here's the good news: once you understand that the problem isn't simply aging, but rather congestion, inflammation, and poor circulation, you can take action. Not with pills, not with gimmicks, but with something as simple and natural as castor oil and baking soda. Because the truth is, castor oil possesses an extraordinary ability to improve blood flow. And when combined with baking soda, its effects become even more pronounced. But to truly understand why this works, we need to explore what makes castor oil so unique and how it influences the male body at a cellular level. You're about to uncover something that most men never hear from their doctors. Second, let's discuss castor oil, the circulation champion for the male body. When I first encountered castor oil during my medical training, it was merely a footnote, something old-fashioned, something relegated to folk remedies in grandmother's medicine cabinets. But years later, as I focused on men's sexual health, I began to re-examine these forgotten remedies with a fresh perspective. And what I discovered about castor oil left me astounded. Not because it's trendy, exotic, or expensive, but because it's effective. And it works in a way that modern medicine often overlooks. You see, castor oil has a very distinct quality: it penetrates deeply. Unlike most oils that remain on the surface of the skin, castor oil travels through the layers of tissue. It doesn't simply warm the skin, it actively moves, delivering anti-inflammatory and circulation-boosting compounds directly to areas of congestion. And that's precisely what makes it so beneficial for men over 60, particularly when it comes to revitalizing blood flow and function in the pelvic region. I remember a man named Walter, age 74, who consulted me after enduring 2 years of weak erections and a near-total loss of sensation. He had experimented with supplements and even considered injections, but nothing seemed to help. We initiated a simple regimen involving castor oil packs gently applied to his lower abdomen and groin area. Within 2 weeks, he returned to my office with tears in his eyes. "Doc," he said, "it's like something has been switched back on." That's the power of improved blood flow. And castor oil doesn't just facilitate the flow of blood, it also encourages the lymphatic system to eliminate waste and reduce swelling. This is vital for older men because the groin and lower pelvis tend to accumulate toxins and metabolic byproducts over time. Castor oil stimulates the movement of fluids through these areas, flushing out stagnation and restoring vitality to tissues that have been deprived of oxygen and nutrients. It's not solely about performance, either, it's about feeling alive again. Castor oil stimulates something deeper, the reawakening of connection to your own body. Some men report a sensation of warmth, while others experience a return of subtle sensations they thought were lost forever. This isn't magic, it's biology revived through natural means. And the best part is that it's gentle and non-invasive. It doesn't interfere with your medications or require a prescription. You apply it with intention, with care, and you allow it to do what it has done for generations: bring life back to areas where it has faded. But castor oil alone is only part of the equation. When you combine it with the right agent, something that neutralizes acid, balances pH, and breaks down hardened tissue, the results can be even more remarkable. That's where baking soda comes in. And believe me, it's not just something you use in your refrigerator or for your teeth. What it does inside the male body might surprise you more than anything else in this video. Third, let's explore baking soda, the detoxifier that softens hardened tissue and clears blockages. Most people associate baking soda with the kitchen or perhaps with freshening up the refrigerator. But within the body of an aging man, baking soda becomes something far more potent. It transforms into a healer, a gentle, natural force that breaks down years of accumulated buildup, acid, stiffness, and toxic debris that have gradually diminished your virility, strength, and sensitivity. I recall one of my patients, Ronald, age 68, who had always led a healthy, disciplined life. Yet, his erections were weak, his groin felt tight and heavy, and he constantly felt like something was blocked inside. We conducted every test imaginable, his hormones were fine, and his blood sugar was under control. But then I posed a question that most doctors never consider: have you ever tried using baking soda topically, not just internally? His puzzled expression said it all. What many people don't realize is that baking soda is more than just a pH balancer. It neutralizes acid that accumulates in tissues, especially in areas with poor circulation, such as the lower pelvis. When acidity goes unchecked, it creates an environment where inflammation flourishes. Over time, it hardens soft tissue, narrows blood vessels, and makes the body more resistant to healing. This is one reason why many older men experience numbness or swelling in that area. Beneath the surface, their tissues are engaged in a losing battle against chemical stress. But when applied correctly, particularly when combined with castor oil, baking soda softens what's stiff, loosens what's stuck, and clears pathways that have been blocked for years. It's almost like giving your body a second chance to breathe again. Ronald followed a simple protocol. He mixed a small amount of baking soda into warm castor oil, applied it gently across his lower abdomen and inner thighs, and rested with a warm cloth covering the area. After just 4 sessions, he reported feeling a warmth I haven't felt since I was 40. And the following week, he returned with a smile and declared, "Doc, I woke up with morning wood for the first time in 6 years." This wasn't a miracle, it was chemistry. The body was finally provided with the right environment to repair itself. But what's even more intriguing is how these two ingredients, castor oil and baking soda, don't just work individually, they create a kind of synergy. They enhance each other's effects, penetrating deeper, working faster, and delivering results that are often felt within days. It's not a quick fix, but for men who are patient and consistent, it can feel like turning back the clock. And yet, this powerful blend is just the beginning. Because the way you apply it, where, when, and how, can determine the difference between mild relief and a full restoration of sensation and function. Let me demonstrate precisely how to use this method to unlock its full potential. You'll want to hear every detail. Fourth, let's discuss how to apply the castor oil and baking soda method for maximum blood flow and sensation. This is where everything starts to change, not in theory, but in practice. Because now that you understand what castor oil and baking soda do individually, the real magic occurs when you use them together with purpose, patience, and mindful attention. I'm not asking you to believe in a miracle, I'm asking you to experience something for yourself, something your body has likely been silently requesting for years. Now, let me guide you through the method, the same one I've shared with numerous older men, many of whom had nearly given up hope. The beauty of this approach lies not only in its effectiveness but also in how gentle, grounding, and restorative it can feel. Begin with a clean, warm cloth. Mix 1 tablespoon of castor oil with just a pinch, about half a teaspoon, of baking soda. Stir until smooth. Gently warm the mixture if you like, either by placing it in a bowl of warm water or holding it in your palms. Then, in a quiet moment, without rushing or distractions, apply the mixture over your lower abdomen, inner thighs, and the base of your groin. These are the areas from which blood flow to the penis originates. These are the power lines, and they need to be clear. Massage slowly in a circular motion, not forcefully or quickly. This isn't about applying pressure, it's about awakening tissue, stimulating circulation, and signaling to your nervous system that it's safe to open up. If you wish, cover the area with a warm towel for 20 to 30 minutes. The heat aids the castor oil in penetrating deeper, and the baking soda begins to break down those hardened tissues that have dulled your sensitivity for years. Some men notice warmth or tingling within days. Others report improved sleep. Some even experience fewer nighttime trips to the bathroom. But across the board, what I hear most often is, "I feel something again." That's the beginning of restoration, not just physically but emotionally as well. Because when a man reconnects with his body, even in a small way, everything shifts. And here's the thing, this isn't a one-time event. The key is consistency. Even just 3 times a week can bring about real change. You're not just applying a mixture, you're reclaiming a ritual. You're showing your body that it's still worthy of care, of attention, of life. But what if you could take it even further? What if there were specific acupressure points you could stimulate while applying this blend that would amplify blood flow and awaken nerves that have become dormant? In the next section, I'll share 3 forgotten techniques that most men have never even heard of, and they may be the missing key to bringing everything back online. Fifth, let's explore the forgotten pressure points that instantly boost male circulation. Sometimes, the answers we seek aren't hidden in pills or procedures but within the very palms of our hands. Over the years, as I've worked with older men seeking to restore strength, sensitivity, and connection, I've learned that the human body holds its own keys, quiet little switches that, when activated correctly, can reignite energy and blood flow in ways that science is only beginning to rediscover. And the beauty of it is that you already possess them, you simply haven't been taught how to use them. Let me tell you about George, a 79-year-old widower who consulted me not just for advice on performance but for something deeper. He said, "I don't want to feel invisible anymore." His voice trembled. We didn't discuss medications, we talked about touch. I showed him 3 simple pressure points that, when stimulated while applying the castor oil and baking soda blend, could help dilate blood vessels, calm the nervous system, and restore sensation to areas that had been dormant for years. The first is located right at the base of the wrist, in the soft hollow between the 2 tendons. In Chinese medicine, it's known as the heart 7-point. When gently pressed for 60 seconds, it helps reduce stress, slow the heart rate, and open blood vessels. The second is situated on the inner thigh, approximately 4 finger widths from the groin crease. Applying pressure here boosts blood flow to the pelvis and supports lymphatic drainage. The third, perhaps the most potent, is found between the big toe and the second toe, just where they meet the foot. Known as liver 3, this point helps regulate circulation and testosterone-related energy. You don't need to be a healer to use these, you simply need your fingertips, your breath, and a quiet moment. When George began this practice, he didn't expect much. But 2 weeks later, he called me. His voice was different, stronger, brighter. "Doc," he said, "for the first time in years, I woke up feeling like myself again." These points aren't magical, they're reminders that your body still responds, that age hasn't taken everything from you, that there's still more within waiting to be awakened. But if you truly want to take this further, if you're serious about restoring not just blood flow but full body vitality, then what you eat in the hours following this method matters more than you might think. Because certain foods can lock in the results, strengthen your erections, and supercharge your recovery, while others can silently undo everything you've just rebuilt. What you put on your plate could either fuel your recovery or quietly sabotage it. Let's discuss that next. Sixth, let's explore the foods that either make or break your results after applying this blend. There's a window of opportunity after you apply the castor oil and baking soda blend, after you've gently massaged it into your skin and perhaps even stimulated the pressure points. When your body is receptive, calm, the blood vessels are dilated, the tissues are softened, and your system is more open than usual. And this is when what you eat matters more than ever. Let me put it this way, you've just cleared the pathways, you've opened the floodgates for healing and blood flow. But imagine cleaning a pristine river and then dumping garbage upstream. That's what happens when you follow the right habits with the wrong foods. I've seen countless older men do the right things for their bodies and then negate all their efforts by reverting to what's easy, inexpensive, or familiar on their plate. Let me tell you about Bill, 72, a former firefighter, tough as nails but incredibly frustrated. He had been diligently following the method. "I feel the warmth returning," he said, "but something's off. It's like I take one step forward and two steps back." So, I asked him to record everything he ate for a week. And there it was, copious amounts of white bread, processed meats, cheese, and soda. No color, no life, just sugar, salt, and empty calories. I helped him make some changes, nothing extravagant, just real food with a purpose. Beet juice after application to flood the area with nitric oxide, half an avocado for the healthy fats that nourish your hormones, a small bowl of steamed spinach with olive oil and garlic, one of the most effective natural artery softeners I know, and a piece of dark chocolate, yes, real cacao. Because it stimulates nitric oxide and supports male performance more than most men realize. After a week, Bill felt transformed. He wasn't just feeling better in that area, he was waking up earlier, walking farther, and even flirting again. "I thought I was finished," he told me. "Now I'm planning a weekend with my old high school sweetheart." That's the power of giving your body what it craves after it's been opened up. The castor oil and baking soda method clears the way, but the right foods keep the road open. They solidify the results, they tell your body, yes, I'm serious about healing. And just as food can either heal or harm, so can your mindset. You see, the next layer isn't physical at all, it's what you believe about yourself as a man, as a partner, as someone who still has a life to live. Because no method works unless you feel like you still matter. And that's what we're going to unlock next, the mindset shift that changes everything. Seventh, let's discuss the mindset shift that reactivates your manhood. Most men over 60 don't realize that the biggest obstacle to recovery isn't physical, it's not the arteries or the hormones, it's what you silently tell yourself every morning when you look in the mirror. The quiet belief that this is just what happens at my age becomes a silent permission slip to accept decline. And I want to challenge that belief right now, not with false hope but with the truth. I've sat with hundreds of men, strong, hardworking men who had convinced themselves that they were no longer desirable, that their best years were behind them. The pain was never just about performance, it was about identity, about what it means to feel like a man when your body no longer responds the way it used to. And here's the surprising thing I've learned, the body listens closely to what the mind believes. I remember Frank, a 67-year-old who had undergone prostate surgery. He had completed the treatments, followed every recommendation, and then he told me, "Doc, I'm physically fine, but I don't feel like a man anymore." That broke my heart. So, instead of prescribing more medication, I asked him to do something simple. Every time he applied the castor oil and baking soda blend, I asked him to place one hand on his chest and say out loud, "I still matter. My story isn't over." It sounded foolish to him at first, but over the next month, something shifted, not just in his body but in his eyes, his posture, the way he spoke about himself. "I feel alive again," he said, "not because everything's perfect, but because I stopped treating myself like I was already gone." The truth is, your body responds to intention. When you approach healing not from desperation but from belief, something inside reignites. You move differently, you carry yourself with quiet pride again. And yes, this impacts circulation, hormone response, and performance. Science supports it, but more importantly, so do the lives of real men who refuse to give up on themselves. So, I'm asking you, what are you choosing to believe about your manhood today? Are you waiting to feel strong before you act like it? Or are you ready to act like it and let the strength follow? Because here's the truth that most doctors won't tell you, your body is listening, and every action, every word, every belief is either fueling your fire or slowly extinguishing it. But belief alone isn't enough, you need rhythm, you need a simple daily plan that transforms all this knowledge into results. You've come this far, now, let me show you exactly how to make this a 7-day routine that can truly change your life. What happens next might surprise you. Eighth, let's discuss the 7-day routine that brings it all together. If you've made it this far, you're not just curious, you're committed. That tells me something powerful about you. You're not one of those men who quietly accepts decline, you're searching for a way back, a way forward. And now that you understand why castor oil and baking soda work, how your mindset matters, and what foods support the process, it's time to integrate it all into one simple, repeatable routine. Because, let's be honest, most older men fail not because they don't care but because they never transform what they learn into something they consistently do. And that's the real key here, taking all this knowledge and anchoring it into a pattern your body can trust. Here's what I advise my own patients: every evening, take a moment to slow down. Don't rush this, it's not another chore, it's a ritual. Warm a tablespoon of organic castor oil, mix in a pinch of baking soda until it forms a smooth, slightly thick blend, and then apply it gently to your lower abdomen and pubic area, the region where blood flow, nerve activity, and prostate health all intersect. Use slow, circular motions, let your hand be firm but kind. This isn't just about applying oil, it's about reintroducing your body to your attention. You'd be surprised how many men haven't touched this area outside of necessity or frustration in years. But here, with this blend, you're showing your body that healing is the goal, not shame or disappointment. Once applied, lie down for 10 to 15 minutes, let the warmth seep in, let the quiet return to your nervous system. No phone, no distractions, just stillness. If you want to go deeper, apply a warm compress for added absorption, but even without it, the blend will do its work. Immediately afterward, not 2 hours later, but right after, provide your body with the nutrients it needs: a small bowl of spinach or beetroot, a hard-boiled egg, or a glass of pomegranate juice. These aren't fancy superfoods, they're circulation allies. Think of them as fuel for the fire you just lit. Repeat this every night for 7 days. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s start to feel a flicker of energy they thought was long gone, a little more morning fullness, a stronger urine stream, fewer nighttime awakenings, more confidence. It doesn't all happen overnight, but the path begins here. And the best part is that the more you do this, the more your body begins to anticipate healing instead of decline. That's the real transformation, not just in performance but in identity. But what happens when those 7 days are up? That's when we unlock the deeper rewards, and I'll show you exactly how to transition from short-term change to lasting renewal. Ninth, let's discuss what to expect after 7, 14, and 30 days. Now, let's talk about what actually happens when you commit to this, not just for one night but for a full week, 2 weeks, and even a month. Because I understand how easy it is to start something and feel uncertain. You apply the castor oil and baking soda, you eat the right foods, you shift your mindset, and then you wait, wondering, is it really working? Am I just imagining things? So, let me walk you through what most of my patients experience and what you might feel, too, if you remain consistent. By day 7, the first thing you'll likely notice is warmth, not just from the oil but from within, a quiet awakening. Perhaps you wake up with a slight fullness, a feeling you haven't experienced in a while. It's not dramatic, and it's not a Hollywood transformation, but it's real. That's blood flow beginning to return. Some men also report deeper sleep, fewer nighttime trips to the bathroom, and a calmness they haven't felt in years. That's the nervous system unwinding, that's your body saying, I remember this. By day 14, the changes deepen. The area around your pelvis might feel lighter, less tense. That dull ache or tightness you've grown accustomed to begins to ease. Erections may return with more strength, even if you're not fully aroused. Spontaneity begins to seep back into your life. And here's something powerful: many men start to feel a renewed desire to care for their bodies again. They start walking more, eating better, holding themselves with quiet pride. By day 30, something deeper happens. You stop thinking of this as a treatment and start feeling it as part of who you are. The healing becomes internalized. Blood vessels that were constricted begin to open, nerve signals that were dulled begin to reconnect, hormonal shifts, subtle but meaningful, start to support your manhood again. And above all, a deep trust forms between you and your body. I remember one man, Robert, who told me after 30 days, it's not just that things are working again, it's that I feel like myself again. My wife sees it, my walk is different, even my handshake is stronger. That's the kind of change we're talking about, not just physical performance but full body restoration. And yes, it all began with a blend that most people overlook. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Because after 30 days, the real magic begins, when your body has been primed and you're ready to introduce one final secret that accelerates everything, a method older generations quietly used for decades, now supported by science, and it's probably sitting in your kitchen right now. Ready to find out what it is? 10th, let's discuss the final ingredient hiding in your kitchen. After 30 days of consistency, something incredible happens. Your body is no longer just responding, it's remembering, it's healing. The castor oil and baking soda blend, the nutrients, the breath, the mindset, all of it has laid a foundation. But now there's one more layer to add, and believe it or not, it's probably sitting quietly in your pantry, waiting for you to recognize its power. It's apple cider vinegar. Yes, that simple, cloudy bottle that most of us use occasionally for cooking or digestion. But when combined strategically with this routine, it becomes something more, an activator, a bridge between your internal systems. I know that might sound far-fetched, but stay with me for a moment. When taken just a few drops in warm water before your castor oil and baking soda ritual, apple cider vinegar helps optimize your body's pH levels. This small shift reduces inflammation, supports liver detoxification, and improves how your body absorbs minerals. And here's the kicker, it promotes nitric oxide activity, the very compound that triggers stronger blood flow to the penis. For older men especially, this is the missing piece because it helps the work you're already doing go deeper, it amplifies the effects. Some of my patients describe it like this, it's like turning up the volume on everything, and they're right. Within a week of adding apple cider vinegar to their nightly protocol, they report firmer erections, better sleep, more energy in the morning, and a sharper sense of mental clarity. One man even told me, "It's the first time I've felt truly alive in years." But here's what I think matters most, this last step isn't just physical, it's symbolic, it's proof that you're still curious, still open to growth, still willing to try. That kind of spirit changes everything, it tells your body, I haven't given up, I'm just getting started. And so, with this final ingredient added, you've now built something bigger than a routine, you've built a ritual, a personal roadmap to restoration, a blend of science, tradition, and self-respect that honors your age, your body, and your future. But what does this all lead to? What happens when you carry this momentum forward, not for 7 days, not for 30, but for life? That's what we'll uncover next, because the conclusion isn't an ending, it's your new beginning. And in just a moment, I'll show you exactly how far this simple ritual can take you when you choose to truly believe in it. In conclusion, your new beginning starts now. So, here we are, you followed a path that many men never even consider, one built not on pills or quick fixes but on knowledge, tradition, and the courage to try something different. From the ancient healing touch of castor oil to the balancing strength of baking soda, from restoring blood flow to rewiring your nervous system, and finally, that humble bottle of apple cider vinegar quietly tying it all together, each piece has built a foundation beneath your feet. This isn't just about your penis, it's about how you feel when you wake up, it's about your confidence when you look in the mirror, it's about how you show up for your partner, your family, and, most importantly, yourself. I've seen it happen more times than I can count, men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s discovering that they're not finished, that their body still has stories to write, passion to share, and strength to give. I'm not speaking to you as someone who read this in a textbook, I'm speaking to you as a doctor who has sat across from men just like you, frustrated, tired, but not ready to give up. And I'll tell you this, those who stick with this simple ritual often find not only physical results but something deeper, a quiet pride, a spark. So, take this knowledge and turn it into action. Because this isn't the end of your journey, it's the beginning of a chapter that's stronger, wiser, and more alive than ever. You've earned this, now go reclaim it. If this message resonated with you, don't keep it to yourself, hit the like button, share it with a friend who needs to hear it, and leave a comment below to tell me how this helped you. And if you'd like to support more videos like this for men over 60, consider making a small donation, every bit helps keep this mission alive. You matter, your health matters, let's keep going together.